It took the limelight out of Tella's sacrifice, then give it back to Dante. I'm quite disappointed with that one. Hi guys, Vanessa here, and we're on to the second book of the Caraval series, Legendary, and here are my thoughts. I believe I called it Legend last time, so apologies. This girl got confused. But before we begin, here are some quotes that stood out for me. So number 1, every story has 4 parts. The beginning, the middle, the almost ending, and the true ending. And the last one, legends were supposed to be better than the truth. Perfect, idealized dreams and crystalline hopes that were too flawless to exist in reality. But before we begin, spoiler warning. And also some blood play in this book, which I find interesting because everyone was just like, there's no spice in this book, this is very young adult fiction, blah 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 blah. But there's blood play. I mean, there's some blood. And there weren't any vampires in this book, so just be warned, there's some blood play. Now, this book follows the Dragna sister, specifically the youngest, Donatella or Tella Dragna. From the previous book, we learn about the whereabouts of their mother. You remember the one that left them at the mercy of their cruel and abusive father? So now in this book, Tella needs to join Legends game. It's her turn to join Legends game in order to find, save, and rescue their mother. And also to know why she left in the first place. And basically the mystery behind their mother. First off, I like this book. I mentioned while doing a review in the first book, Caraval, you'll find my review here, on despite not exactly liking the book, on why I continued reading on. And it was more so because I got intrigued with some bits of information that they let on, and I want answers. But yeah, like I mentioned, the first book was just okay. But wow, this book is a lot better than the first one, than Caraval. Legendary is a lot better. Pacing-wise, the progression of the story and the revelation of things were really good. Well, in this book, we learn who gave Tella the information she needed about Caraval, about Legend, and how to encourage Legend to invite them to his game. And now, in this book, we learned what he wants. This informant, and what he wants as a payment. And that is for Tella to get Legend's real name in exchange for information about the whereabouts of Tella's mom, the Dragna sister's mom. And now here in this book, we found that person that gave Tella all those information is apparently the Prince of Hearts. He's a fate, and he held a grudge against Legend and wants Legend dead. So now, basically, here, Tella was just a pawn of the Prince of Hearts to find information about Legend in order for him to kill Legend and to get Legend's power. And Legend's pawn as well. That is to find the deck of cards where all the fates were imprisoned in order to destroy this deck of cards, basically destroying the fates and getting their powers. So yeah, we are introduced to the main villain, so to speak, of the story, the fates. They were basically these minor gods. They were cruel, they were oppressive, and then years ago, they were imprisoned and banished. But then now, unbeknownst to anyone on why, the Prince of Hearts were able to escape his imprisonment and was just basically biding his time. Which is, I find, quite a responsibility and a challenge to a girl that is just yet about to turn 17. So obviously, I'm invested. And overall, I appreciate Tella's characterization. She was headstrong, she was determined. She is this young person with conflicting emotions, which were understandable and doesn't border annoying. Love interest as well was not there to fight her battles, which I find refreshing. He did a bit or a lot depending on how you see it, but not to the point where it invalidates the sacrifices and efforts of Tella. Except for that one annoying part. Except at the end. The conflict of interest between Tella and Dante, the love interest, has a good foundation, which I appreciate. I mean, the book, the story showed us on why Tella doesn't want to fall in love or why she doesn't let people in except her sister Scarlet. So the book gave valid reasons for that, and I appreciate that, especially on Tella's end. So now, this is what annoyed me or miffed me with regard to what Dante did. Because for me, Tella's love and sacrificial attitude was really commendable. Which is why I like her as a character more than Scarlet, her sister. But Dante, who, as it turns out, was legend all along, ruined it! I know he meant it for good, but on my end, he ruined it. Probably other people would appreciate it, but not me. I felt like he ruined it. It is like this. So when Tella, spoiler, so when Tella was already trying to open herself up to people, to this love interest, Dante, who she found out was legend. So she was in a crossroads. She was faced with a dilemma. One, give up Dante, aka Legend, to the Prince of Hearts, so that he could kill Legend, take his power, and burn the world while they're at it. Or two, give Dante the deck of cards where all the fates were imprisoned so that in turn he could destroy the deck of cards, in a way destroying all the fates and taking their power with him. But the thing is, I forgot to mention earlier, Tella and Scarlet's mom was trapped in one of the cards. So when Dante destroyed the card, he will also in turn will kill their mother. So now I'm thinking probably the Prince of Hearts did something or tricked their mom to swap places. That's why he's outside and their mom is trapped inside the card. But yeah, so that's her dilemma. That's Stella's dilemma. So now this is where her sacrificial spirit and thinking outside the box comes in, which I find commendable. So now, in order to save or free her mom and destroy the fates altogether, she swapped places with her mom. She freed her mom, trapping herself inside the card. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. That's a good decision. I mean, there's a good storytelling. You'll be like, oh, what are we going to do now? That is genius, I find. And it could have ended there on a cliffhanger. I would be annoyed, but obviously the book is already finished. It could have ended there. Cliffhanger, but it's poetic. It is beautiful. And then probably in the next books, it's Scarlet's turn, her action. For a reason or another, Tella got rescued. She's out of the car, blah, 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 blah. But then the conflict is still there. They still need to eventually destroy the fates. Because they are, as it turns out, the main villain. But no, Dante needs to ruin everything. So what Dante did was he freed all the fates in order to free Tella from the card, from that card imprisonment, which is okay. It's romantic, but I felt that it took the limelight out of Tella's sacrifice, then give it back to Dante. I'm quite disappointed with that one. Probably it could have been done on the last book, in the middle of the last book, or probably in the first quarter of the book. I wouldn't feel upset about that, but ending the book wherein it shifted the focus from Tella to Edward and what Edward did. Basically now, Edward sacrificed the whole world just to save Tella's life. So it shifted the focus from Tella to Edward, which is, no. I think overall, that's the one that only miffed and annoyed me in the book, which is a lot, to be honest, which is a lot. So moving on, that is a lot though. That is a lot. Moving on, Tella's, I mentioned it earlier, Tella's character development in this book is really good. From someone who concedes or accepts her supposed fate to someone who took hold of her life and not living anything to chance and thinking outside the box. I appreciate her character development in this book. So yeah, that's my take on Legendary, the second book in the Caraval Trilogy. Watch out for my next video for the finale, the last book in the trilogy. If you want to see my Caraval review, you'll find it somewhere in the screen, here maybe. And see you guys. Thank you for watching again, and see you in the next video. What is on Edward's end? Is his name Edward? I kept on saying Edward. Dante. Oh my god, his name is Dante. Who's Edward? Oh. The conflict of emotion between Tella and Dante, the lava.